tuning in to the online broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Let's do our blue steel.
Yeah.
We clearly love Zoolander, and we're doing our little intro because Zoolander 2 releases tomorrow in theaters nationwide. Are you gonna go see it? Because I am. I am so there. I'm Amanda Fields, and I am a Project Runway model, as well as full-time model. And here with me is Michelle Uberreste, fashion designer, and Dan Babic, stylist, and we're here to bring you a recap of Project Runway All Stars. Hi guys.
Hey, how are you?
Great. This is an exciting season.
I know, I was looking at you before when you were doing like your Zoolander model looks, and I was like, oh my, I am out of my depth here because I look so terrible doing it, and then we've got the real life model posing and looking really good and striking. I'm like, I love you already because you're in it to win it, and you've got the face, you've got it going on, girl.
Oh my gosh, and that was a little exaggerated because Derek has this like perfect pout.
He really does, doesn't
Yeah,
he?
it's like he invented the duck face selfie like years ago.
I feel like he did, yeah.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's good for him. Why not?
For him.
I'm so excited. I know people are already seeing it tonight, so I have to stay off of social media so I don't find out anything. I'm such a fan. Anyway, but back to Project Runway All Stars. I thought it was a good mix of contestants from different seasons. What about you guys?
Yeah, I feel like they were really lucky to get some of the Bravo designers. I think that mixes it up a lot.
Yes.
So.
Well, and I don't know if it was a good mixing it up or a bad mixing it up with who they have from the Bravo days. I'm like, oh, Daniel Franco.
I mean, they're lucky they could get anybody, I think, but...
No, you know, Daniel Franco is a very charming person. I love his personality, and I'm really happy that he's part of the season. I felt bad that, I guess I'm going to jump right in and say, he cut his finger right away.
Yeah,
It's like blood, sweat, and tears. Well, the blood was there right away at the beginning of the episode.
Yep.
Well, that was actually one thing I was actually disappointed about because, you know, obviously this is All Stars, so we're supposed to be the best designers, we're supposed to be the best of everything, and he's already using that as an excuse.
Yeah,
I was like, you're supposed to be an All-Star, you can't be like, my finger hurts, like that is not acceptable. I was like, bad Daniel, bad.
It's like his Achilles heel was his fingertip.
I know, I'm like, you're putting my name to shame. Don't be doing that, you're an All-Star, mate.
You're an all-star, mate.
Exactly.
The Melbourne is coming out with Dan.
Totally, I know.
You know, you guys, don't you guys just love listening to his voice already? I'm just loving it. Okay.
Thank you.
Well, Alyssa Milano is back as the host. We already have Xana Roberts-Rossi in the workroom, and we've got Isaac Mizrahi and Georgina Chapman from Marquesa judging again. So it's the same team as we've always had for All Stars. And then the first guest judge is Dmitry Solokov, but I thought it was Sokolov, but I guess she pronounced it differently tonight. I'm not sure.
I'd have to look
Yeah,
that
I
up.
think she kind of mixes it up a little bit because I've even known, I met her a couple of times and I swear she says different things. Like whatever, sometimes she's feeling a bit more pretentious, so she'll, you know, announce in a little accent a different way, and sometimes she's feeling more relaxed. She kind of just changes it for her element. You never know what you're going to get out of that good old girl.
What, Alyssa?
Yeah,
You know what? We were talking about Alyssa Milano while we were watching the show tonight, and we were kind of in agreement that I don't know about you guys out there listening and watching, but for me, Alyssa Milano, I've always loved her as an actress, and I thought she's always fun to watch and Charmed and Who's the Boss back in the day. Oh, long time ago. But I wasn't so sure about her being like the fashion girl, like the host. But you know what? She stepped into it and done such a great job, and she's so lovable in that role. And I don't know. I think she's kind of proven me wrong.
Yeah, same. I think when she started, I was kind of like, I don't know. And then she did a couple episodes, and I feel like she really like came into her own after that. So.
And now I'm like excited when she comes out.
Yeah.
Totally.
She's a totally different personality than Heidi.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know, it's kind of, I like it. I think it's good for All Stars. I feel like it gives it a different vibe.
Heidi's like tough love, and Alyssa's just like good cop. Like a love.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have no immunity for the entire All Stars season, which I love.
Love it.
Every episode. Well,
and it's
we'll see what
anonymous.
happens. Yeah, it's as they say, a blind judging, a blind runway. So you kind of don't know who's who, but I feel like you know by the reactions of the contestants sitting over there.
Well, not just the reactions, but like by this point, you should know what your signature is. You should be able to tell whose design is walking.
I'm just struggling with my microphone. It never has happened before. I'm like getting messages of like pushing my microphone forward. I'm like, oh God,
this is what live TV is all about.
I've never had this happen. I'm like, bloody hell. I'm good with the microphone. I'm not good with technology. Like, I just do not get it at all.
That's okay, because we have good producer Eddie who's putting us online
I know, you probably
tonight.
just like have to come in and do something. I'm like, bloody
that's okay.
hell. There we go. That looks like something. I feel like I've made it better. But anyway, back to the show. Yeah.
So the challenge for this episode is go back to that moment in your life where you were really excited about becoming a designer, when you knew that that's what you wanted to do with your life. So they have to go back to that time and kind of decide, like, okay, what am I going to pull from? Because I feel like it's not just all one encompassing like moment. I mean, there's got to be a lot of moments that help you figure out what you want to do with your life. So the designers are like, okay, this is where I want to pull from. And it's interesting to see the stories, because I feel like the designers that do really well have a really strong emotional tie to what they're doing. They have a really great story. And the designers that were struggling, I feel like didn't have a very deep like reason to be a designer, or they had something deep to talk about, but it didn't really coincide with fashion design. What did you think?
Well, I feel like, first of all, that's a really complicated way to say it. Basically, it's like the first challenge is put your like signature out there.
Yeah.
Okay, we need to put a fresh spin on it. Let's make this really complicated thing, but that's what it is.
Okay.
So, and for me as an artist, first of all, it's All Stars, so you already have to up your game, like going in, you know this is crazy, everybody's been there before, you know what the competition is going to be like. And second of all, as an artist, if you don't have passion to draw from, like you should just be out. So if you don't know like who you are or where you came from, like who wants to know what your perspective is?
Or why you're doing
Totally.
it.
Who wants to listen to that or see it? Like nobody.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was actually, to be honest, I was actually very disappointed overall, because I think first of all, they are all stars, and like you are on like the highest, best possible, TV show in the world for fashion design, and you don't know who you are and you don't know who your brand is. And I think, like, especially if you are, a designer, it comes from pain, or it comes from a story. It comes from within. So I'm feeling so Oprah-esque right now. So it's like all of them have that, but they weren't just willing to go there. And it's like, well, if you want to, be out of the ordinary and have this amazing life and to have this incredible label and to really put your best step forward, if you don't know who you are, then my first advice would probably be find out who you are and then get about the business of designing.
Yeah,
And
you kind of
no
have to.
excuse.
Yeah, I'm totally. I was
Done
like,
the show
no, yeah.
before, and you had plenty of note. Like when you find out you're on the show, you have like I don't know, at least a month, couple weeks. Like, quit your job and start figuring out who you are. Like you have, you know the drill. Like there's just no excuse.
And maybe there's a couple of contestants that do actually have something deeper to share with us that we'll get to see throughout the season that maybe they weren't prepared to say or they didn't know they could say. I'm hoping for that because, there's so many things, there's so many facets to any person's career and life and choices and how they got to where they are. And I think that that's good that All Stars wants to go there. So I'm excited to see what's to come.
Do you know who I'd love to see on the show? Kelly Cutrone, the fashion publicist, judge.
Yes.
Because I was just thinking of her straight away. She would be like, especially from a PR background, she would just like get out. Like she's like a hard-ass New Yorker.
Well, she was definitely on America's Next Top Model as a judge.
She was,
Yes.
yes.
And she was fabulous. So I think that would be perfect for her. And I second your idea.
I know,
love
Kelly,
that.
get on there already. Bloody hell, we want you on there. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. So they have $200 budget. They're going to sketch inside of mood, which I like.
Yes.
I like that idea. And I used to get really excited about the sketches and like want to start judging the final result on the sketch. But now I've seen enough seasons and enough episodes to understand that the sketch does not always translate because it has to do with, that's like just a little wisp of an idea. And then they go shopping, and then they cut the fabric and put it together. And sometimes the construction, it like kills it.
and sometimes it just doesn't work, or sometimes you can't find the fabric, and I don't know, ideas just evolve when you get in there and you start working with materials.
Sometimes you use cutting your finger as an excuse to not do so well.
Then maybe you shouldn't make something that's going to be so complicated.
I'm like, how pathetic. And you probably get it. I know, because I don't know anything about how fabric. I'm hopeless on the sewing machine. I just know what looks good. So you probably hate people like me. And I'm like, can you make me this? Can you make it look like that? And you're like, you can't just do that. And I know from designers, they get so pissed off because I'm like, can you just make that work? And you can't. There's like, a big, science behind it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can already see your face. I'm like, people like me, they're just like, oh, just make that for me. And you're like, you can't.
Yeah. I mean, it takes a lot of practice. And, even if you don't have a formal education, you have to educate yourself on how you can actually physically construct something in real life. And that's like, when you go to fashion school, there's half the kids drop out in the first quarter because, they thought, I'm just going to be rich and famous. And, it's like a lot of work, and you have to learn how to sew, and you have to learn how to sketch, and you have to learn how fabrics work. And I don't know, it's like anything else. Like, you want to be an accountant. Well, I don't know how to be one. You have to,
You have to go feel it out. And I think a lot of people go into fashion school thinking, well, I love clothes and I like to shop. It's like, whoa. That's
then
not
you should
the
be
same.
a stylist.
Yeah!
Yeah, it's much more easier in my opinion. You just get to go, someone's already done the hard work for you. Like, oh, that's pretty, that's not. Yeah. Much easier, yes.
Yeah. Actually, I love shopping.
Well, we're just talking before, actually, because we're talking about high and low, because obviously that's the best way to dress. You have, spend money on the big ticket items that you have forever, and on the trends you, get out of the H&M. And we're looking at you today, and we said we love your dress. She's got the beautiful Louis Vuitton bag, designer shoes on, and then she's got the H&M dress. She looks stunning in it. Amazing.
Thank you. I'm like, I'll admit it.
Yeah, own it. You look great. Totally, yeah.
Well, because you gotta mix it up and not always stick to one store. Step outside of your comfort zone a little bit. And back to the show, I like that some of the designers went out of their comfort zone, but some of them were sticking to what they know because they know they could produce it quickly. But I think a lot of these designs tonight were
boring.
Very I have seen it not only on Project Runway, I've seen it in every store, and I've seen it done better. And for probably less than $200. That's the shocking part. So
I think you have to do both, though.
You
you do have to stick with your look and your inspiration and what you do, but you sometimes have to take a risk and try something a little new. It's not like a good time to be like, oh, I've never used this fabric before. But,
Yes, I know. So what are they competing for? I'm going to give you guys the rundown of the prizes for this season of All Stars. They get $100,000. A brother sewing studio, a spread in Marie Claire magazine, and a position at the magazine.
Ooh.
They also
I want that, yeah.
They have the option to design an exclusive collection for Bauble Bar jewelry, and also a capsule collection for Chinese laundry shoes, and of course the notoriety of winning All Stars.
So wait, they can design shoes and jewelry, but no clothes?
I guess.
Okay.
Well, I was just thinking that. Getting a bit dodgy there this year, All Stars. Like, yes.
What about, a capsule collection for Macy's or something? Well, that's okay. That's okay. You know what? Nowadays, with e-commerce, I think people are so excited to see the show on TV, they're ready to go buy it online. It doesn't have to necessarily be in a store. And I don't know if you guys have noticed this going on with New York Fashion Week. This week, it's happening right now as we speak. Well, the after parties are happening right now as we speak. But what's happening is a lot of designers like Tom Ford have decided to show collections on season instead of, because the old way, or the way that still a lot of designers are doing it.
I'm literally my gay heart skips a beat. When I think of New York, when I'm New York Fashion Week, Tom Ford, I'm sitting here I'm hyperventilating. I can't. I'm dying. I'm at New York Fashion Week.
I love you, Tom Ford. Luckily, I've gotten to work with him. I love him. He's amazing, talented, and sweet. Very, very amazing designer. But I love what he's doing. He is showing a collection during the season so that people can buy it right away. Because the old way of doing it is they're showing the collections in February for fall of 2016. So that the buyers have a chance to see the clothes on the runway, then go to the showroom and see the clothes in person, and place the order for the delivery to be made to the store. But now, fast fashion is happening. People are ordering things online so quickly that the designers are thinking, hey, there's probably a good chance that I would do better with the excitement of the fashion show and selling it like that, just ready to produce.
Totally,
I can just have it in the store. I already know where I want to put it. And, it works really well if you already have your own store in your own name. It's not necessarily dependent on a department store choosing.
No, like if you're Tom Ford, you're right, but if you're Whitney Port from the Hills, you know, a little bit more difficult,
Yeah. But I think it's an interesting perspective.
I think it's smart. I mean, basically, you used to have like legit fashion shows. You'd have, you know, people there, spies basically, who would sketch the stuff, knock it off. And now, I mean, you can do production in 3 weeks. You can knock off the designer stuff before they can even have it made. And they're losing sales, and it's like, it's watering down the fashion industry. I think it's a disgrace. It's just trickle down, knock off fashion.
That reminds me of Franco. Trickle down economics. Sorry, House of Cards reference. I just saw the whole series in the past month. It's in my mind.
But I mean, I'm glad the designers are doing that now, because it's like, you know, you have an original idea, you work so hard, and then it's like you just get knocked off, and your stuff's sold for $20 on the, you know, sale rack before they can even produce their own design. So it's like that. I think it's smart. They're getting in there and like doing it.
And then people like me are like, yes, it's at the Zara already. Perfect. You don't have to spend $10,000 on a jacket. I've got it for $200 and it looks exactly the same.
Well, I mean, at least,
Thank you,
know,
Zara.
if you're gonna do that, then you should have to wait.
No, I'm not into waiting. That's actually one thing I do kind of have a thing about the fashion industry, because I love it. It's like my life. It's my art. It's my love. But I don't like that it's not accessible to all people. So I do love that like these H&Ms and the Zaras are out there that, you know, so everybody can still have the look, but don't have to, you know, be making $500,000 a year to afford it.
But you've got independent designers out there doing the same, but they're coming up with original designs.
Michelle,
that's where I'm not supportive of it there. The independent designers, but when they're knocking off Tom Ford, I'm like, and Givenchy at Zara, I'm like, good job. But independent designers, Daniel says no. How about that?
Sure, but are you going to give your money to like big conglomerate corporations, or like people who are actually like, you know, putting their blood, sweat, and tears into like original things, creative, you know, artistic things? I mean, to me, it's like I would rather save up a couple $100s and buy somebody's awesome jacket.
I like to mix it up and shop from all different types.
Mix it up a little bit.
Yeah. The best thing is when people give you a dress when you work for them.
I know, model over here, and that's what we need to start doing. We don't need to all start, you know, get on the diets, get on the, you know, the kale and look like you, and then we can get things for free. Yeah.
Hey, you know. But back to the show.
Yeah, back to the show.
Okay, so we are going to give you one of our favorite things that we like to do here, our runway rundown.
Oh, yes.
Woo! We're going to give you some pictures if you're watching on YouTube. If you are just listening, we're going to do our best to describe all of the ensembles on the runway. So I kind of love this runway. I love that there are these beautiful lights flashing. It feels kind of Hollywood at the same time. So right now you are looking at Ken Lawrence from season 12. He is back with some crazy hats. I don't know if you guys noticed that one beanie hat was barely on his head, and it seemed like it was kind of just sitting there like a mushroom. I don't know. But Ken is very lovable. But he did have a big conflict on his season with Alexander. And then they're back together, of course. But onto his design, I felt like it was very well executed.
Yeah, totally.
And she looked very sexy. However, I've seen it, worn it, yawn. What did you think, Michelle?
I liked it up close. The fabrics were so yummy.
Tell me more about the fabric. I forgot to mention.
Okay, so it's kind of like, I don't know. It's kind of like a lace. The skirt's kind of like a lace, but I feel like there's leather bits in there, but it's very expensive looking. The top is kind of a textured, I want to say lame, but it doesn't look cheap at all. It looks really expensive, but I don't like the proportions.
It looks
the peplum is like whatever. It's too big. It's too fluffy. Xana told him to change it. He was like, I'm doing whatever. I'm not going to listen to you.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Go back to Ken,
Yeah, go
please.
back to Ken, yeah.
Go back.
But, I mean, the whole outfit, minus the peplum or something different, like if he would have made it, you know, smaller, sleeker, I think it would have been aces, but...
Yeah, the reason why I feel like
don't-
I've seen it a million times is because there's a peplum waistline happening, which, I'm sorry, it's a little 2000 and late.
Ooh, I like that, yeah.
Yeah.
But not if you've got the muffin top. If you've got the muffin top, the peplum's here to stay. I'm all about the peplum vibes.
But it's so fluffy. Like, you could do a million different types of peplums that are more attractive, you know what I mean?
Maybe a little bit less exaggerated.
Right.
See, I'm actually going to disagree with you guys because I thought
Okay.
I thought it was very safe. And so, I mean, I'm not like, yay, we love it. But because it was so well made, that's what got him through. I do like that the peplum's actually. I think it's more runway because it is over exaggerated. For ready to wear, I would never suggest that for a client. but for the runway, I actually do like it, and it is a mediocre piece, but it is structurally delivered quite well and is a good quality piece. So he gets a 5 out of 10 and he gets a safe, but he doesn't have us going woohoo.
Oh yeah, we should be doing our numbers.
We forgot to give you the numbers. Dan, you can start. What do you give it out of 10?
5 out of 10.
5. Okay, what about you, Michelle?
I'll do 7.
7.
Just because I like the fabric.
I'm gonna go with 6 because I think there's little pieces that I like of it, but not the whole picture.
I like the model's hair. The model gets a 10 for the hair.
Yeah, the styling is good, except for I don't know about a booty with that dress. But the hair and makeup, yes. Good job, Schwarzkopf. The hair company. They're Schwarzkopf, am I saying it right? They're the hair team this year. All right, moving on to the next look. I believe it is Emily, and it is an oversized sweater that is, it's got a big, what do you call it, lapel? What is that, Michelle? I'm sorry, I'm
like just a
blanking.
Collar
A
thing.
big giant collar, and it's kind of like funky, oversized chic. It's got black, but the sleeves are black, but the main bodice of it, the body of the sweater, is striped blue, white, black. But unfortunately, the stripes are not doing anything for her or for me. I just thought it would look comfortable, but it kind of looked like a chic outfit for an older woman, or just someone that it's like what you put on when you just aren't having a very good day. But I understand it. I can see this in a store right now. I can see people wanting to wear it. I can see people enjoying the sweater, but it just didn't say Project Runway to me.
I think to me, I see where she was going with it, and it could have so much potential to be like super chic, but paired with these like baggy pants and the baggy top, there's like no balance to me. And I mean, I don't know, I like the colors, I like the idea that she had, I like the styling, but it just wasn't executed right.
Well, I just think it's fucking terrible, in my opinion. I'm just like really, like you're back on your first day on the All Stars, and look, it's got a very, oh my god, I'm not racist, but it's got a very small town Canadian vibe. You could just imagine like everyone in the small town Canada, everyone getting it. It looks like a onesie.
But I don't even know what small town Canada looks like. I haven't been.
Well, it's like it's like small town, like, but it's cold, so you want to be nice and warm, and it looks very fun. It looks like a Halloween costume. I bought one of those at the Kmart a few years ago for $10 because it was on sale, and had a lovely time in it going to McDonald's, and that was the last time I wore it. Emily Payne, what are you doing, girl? Not a fan.
Oh my god, another Zoolander. Kmart Jacqueline Smith collection outfit.
Yes.
Okay, sorry. What did your number for that one? What's your number rating?
3, and that's being nice. Sorry, Emily.
Michelle?
5.
I also gave it a 5. All right, moving on to Fade, or Fade, however you... Fade the Growl. He has a really interesting story about this look. Well, and to describe it, it's like a tribal print with some hot pink on top, and it's a crop top zip-up half sleeve kind of situation. And it's with a skirt, so it's kind of crop top with a high-waisted skirt, but not super high-waisted. It's kind of, this is one that's difficult to describe. I wish I could just show you the picture for all you listeners. But the bottom half is black and white and crazy all over. But I actually do like the skirt more than the top. I feel like we've seen crop tops over and over from designers. And even though this is well executed, again, it's kind of, I've seen it, I've worn it, I've done it, I'm bored. But I do like that he wanted this to kind of look like the Berlin Wall after it came down, like the graffiti, and he was talking about Germany and how he became free. And so I like his story more than I like the outfit. So I ultimately, I think I would just get the skirt. I'm half and half on this one.
Yeah, I mean, you said tribal, and that's what it looks more like African-inspired to me than the East Germany reference. I don't get that at all. I think Fade is like, he's either hit or miss, and I think this is a hit. It looks really fashion to me, and his pattern mixing totally works this time. It's like he always does these crazy stuff together, but this time it really worked for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. I do think it does have a bit of an African tribal vibe, like a bit of an Indiana girl, but I really like it. And obviously, you know, when you're mixing patterns, that is very difficult to do. And I think he's done it very well. So I'm going to give him probably a 7. And, you know, the story behind it is very nice. And, you know, I think he's done a really great job. The colours, the pattern. And I do think it's quite trendy as well because of the length of the skirt and just because of the patterns. That pattern hasn't really been done before.
What did you think for your number, Michelle?
8.5.
I gave him a 7 as well, Dan. I now that you're saying it, I do feel like the sleeve of the top is kind of reminiscent of maybe a dashiki kind of sleeve.
Ooh,
I kind of now I'm liking it more after you said that, like tribal. Like
Tribal,
yeah, okay. So I think maybe a 7.5. I'm loving it the more I look at it. So good job, Faye. I like that. Okay, so actually we're gonna skip ahead a little bit because I kind of got out of order on my pictures tonight. I was a little excited about the first episode. So now we have Daniel Franco. Now, if you guys think all the way back to the beginning of Project Runway, he was the first designer to ever get eliminated on season 1. Aww. But then they brought him back for season 2, and he made it maybe 3 episodes. Aww. So he was a little bit more memorable, and they gave him another chance. And Daniel, they had some other contestants on season 2, like making up songs about the other designers and about Tim Gunn and the judges, and they were just gonna be being silly in the workroom
instead of working.
And well, actually, they were working and singing. Yeah, that was a good one. Santino and Nick Barrios, they were making up the song like, Daniel Franco, where did you go? Oh, Daniel Franco, I barely got to know ya. Okay.
Well, he's back. Look, he's back.
I did not make that song up. It's actually.
That was so long ago.
Yes. Oh my God. I'm aging myself, but that's okay. But Daniel Franco, where did you go? You should have stayed there. That's what I have to say. It's kind of like a messed up mermaid. This look is some kind of blue fabric that I don't even know. Michelle, please help me out with the fabric. I don't know what it's called.
I don't know, but it's puckery. It's puckery. Like a weird, like, jacquard seersucker combination.
I mean, it looks like it should be like the lining of a coat instead of like the coat.
Or a grandma's coat.
Yeah, and Daniel says his pièce de résistance as a designer is like he loves to tailor. He's the best tailor. He knows how to do jackets.
He looks pretty chic to me, doesn't he? Yeah.
Doesn't know how to tailor at all, Daniel. I'm sorry, but this, maybe you do, but not in this time frame.
It actually kind of annoys me, this outfit, because I know there are so many people that would be, like, love to have this opportunity. It would be the opportunity of a lifetime.
Right.
And it's like, is that like, I don't get it, because my saying, I don't think I've told you, is, I didn't wake up today to be mediocre. Like, why the hell, on your first episode back, you've been eliminated season 1, you've been eliminated season 2, and then you're delivering something that's not even mediocre, that's complete crap.
Yeah, like how many people get a third chance?
I know, and look, you just blow it. Like, Daniel, to the tip you go. I was so annoyed he didn't get eliminated today, but next week,
me too.
I'm ready for you to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I got really into that.
Oh.
I know, I'm waiting on a sweat.
Not only all that, it was supposed to be meant to be a jacket, like a wearable jacket, and then he, like, decides not to put the sleeves on it at the last minute. So she's got a sleeveless jacket with, like, a terrible closure and a high slit that should not be that high.
And then he's in his 40s and he's complaining about his finger hurting. Like, please, you've been given more chances than anyone else.
Yeah.
Don't talk to me. Be gone, Daniel.
Okay, Michelle. What do you say after all that?
I mean, this was like nothing to me. It looked like, you know, when you drape something to do the pattern, like your first muslin.
Oh, like a muslin.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a throwaway fabric.
Yeah, like literally, like, this is the crappiest stuff I own, and I'm going to use it to, like, drape my pattern. And then, you know, why did the judges didn't call him, like, hey, call him out on, like, hey, why didn't you put the sleeves on? Like, they're not even, like, turned in or finished. Like, he didn't even try. And then, you know, it's like coming open in the front. Like, you should have just whip stitched that puppy shut.
So what does that mean to whip stitch?
Okay, so it's just a really quick, easy way to stitch. You just stitch, like, around the edge. You just keep putting the needle under, and it's, like, super quick. But he could have just closed that
like a
thing.
circular motion.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
by hand?
He could have done it in, like, by hand in, like, 2 minutes. Like, right before they went on runway or something. I mean, I don't know. This is, like, nothing to me. I gave it a 0.
And also, her hair ruins it even more because it looks like she just got out of the shower and threw on a robe.
I mean,
I
don't know how anyone could make this so much nothing in, like, a day. Like, it isn't that much time.
But you know, I just want to say, thank goodness that this model still had a good attitude, and she wore it well. She tried, and
she was covered up.
You know, I'm just happy that she did her best out there.
And look at the slit. Like, I didn't even notice the slit. It's just disgusting. Disgusting has got a third chance. Disgusting is on the show. Disgusting. Goodbye, Daniel. Flick it off. Not into him.
And maybe I gave it a 3 or a 4.
0.
I gave it a 0.
0.
0.
Okay.
He should have been eliminated. This is like a no-brainer.
Yeah, it's like not acceptable.
This is just not even, I mean, I sort of feel bad for the guy, but, like, it's just unacceptable. Like, you're in a competition, so as a judge, you have to make that decision.
Yeah. Okay, we have a lot of designers to get to. So
I know, you're trying to go back to Kansas, Dorothy.
We're like angry at Daniel
I
Franco.
know, like rage.
Okay, well, now we have Stella. Stella Zodis from season 5, one of the Bravo people again. We're going from one Bravo to the next. Now, she actually loved her leather. She was always saying, I love my leather on the show. And, girlfriend, this is cute, I guess, but it doesn't say anything to me about rock and roll or like, you know, owning the stage or, you know, wearing it for a concert. It just doesn't do it for me. It doesn't really do much of anything. It is a black dress. And it's got some interesting cutouts in the very bottom, like some kind of slits all the way around, so it looks like kind of an unwrapped plastic bottle at the bottom. I don't know what's happening. And then the bodice does have an interesting lace, or not lace. It looks like a shoelace. And I don't know. It's something that could be just fine how it is. It didn't need this crazy slits at the bottom. It didn't need the weird shoelacing thing. I think this could have been a very simple classic dress that could have been made more rock and roll, maybe with other elements. I don't understand where she was coming from. It's kind of plain Jane rock and roll, I guess. Rock and roll light.
Isn't it like the worst thing to be called ever, plain Jane? Like, I could not think of anything worse, like being called basic or plain Jane. Like, that's terrible, yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, I thought it was dated, wearing TJ Maxx. I wrote super
TJ Maxx.
Not rock and roll. It wasn't rock and roll at all. That's
TJ
like your
Maxx
identity.
in LA, maybe.
Like, some grommets don't make it rock and roll. It's just boring. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Fail.
Fail,
Okay.
yeah. Well, I was just going to say, to be honest, I think I kind of see where she was going with it. I think she was kind of trying, you know when you really try and impress people, so you're like, let's just chuck everything on it. But let's see small, baby, so I can see where you're going, but execution,
I mean,
fail.
make it a little more like Betsy Johnson.
I did like the
know?
fit of the dress, so I gave her a 5 for the fit.
3.
And I'm bloody still fixing my microphone. I'm like, never had microphone troubles before.
Okay,
I have to hold it in a
next
second.
designer, please. Next designer. Okay, woohoo! This is definitely Valerie right here. Valerie, I love because it's culottes on a cool girl. I love the colors on this, the peach, the orange with the white and black. For some reason, it was just very effortless, chic, almost like resort. And I love the piping and the way that she placed everything. It's just, she understands a woman's body and what women want to wear, and it was very, I feel, universally flattering, depending on if you want to wear shorts. It's flattering to all. If you don't want to wear shorts, then you have a different situation. But you could, hey, if you wanted to, you could call the designer up and say, I want to order this, but make it pants. A lot of people do that for the red carpet.
Yeah.
They're custom.
I don't even like culottes, but I like this.
Yeah.
Everything about it is great. Like, I love the ombre, the geometric. Like, it's complicated, but it's intricate, but it's not fussy.
It's like just the
still
right amount of
effortless.
complicated.
Right. So it's an interesting, but it's so easy.
Yeah.
Do you know what's funny? Because I saw it, I'm like, I love it, but there's just a little bit too much. And then as soon as you took the cape off, I was like, nailed it.
Yeah.
And I also thought it was really beautiful as well. Because I mean, even if you're not a fashion person, you can just tell looking at it, that's a beautifully made piece and it's exquisite, sorry. But I love the story behind it. Like, I love a story because I'm an Oprah boy. I love the story.
Yes.
I love, all the connection behind and how, her, friend bought her first machine and she was practicing the lines and that's how she learned to sew and that's where it all began.
And she was really emotional and connected to it.
Totally. That's what this was about. It was about spilling your heart and soul onto a lovely sewing machine and coming out with a beautiful piece, and that's what she did. So 10 out of 10.
You're going to Hollywood.
You go to Hollywood, yeah. Like,
Ooh, you get the golden ticket, girl. That's
yeah,
a 10. Okay.
love it.
So we're moving on to a next designer. Dom Streeter. Of course, she's the winner from her season, so I don't know if it's really like quote-unquote fair for the winner to come back, but you know what? I kind of don't care if it's fair or not because I love seeing her designs again.
Yes.
And Dom, I was surprised that she wasn't in the top 3 because
Yeah,
that
what?
is amazing. I said, slay, honey. Modern, sophisticated, sellable. Anyone can wear that coat. And it's just like, who wouldn't want that coat? It's gorgeous and delicious. And I give it a 10.
I gave it a 10 as well.
Do you know what? I'm giving it about an 8.
Okay.
I love it for the runway. If I see it on the runway, I'm like, oh, I love it. But just for ready to wear, I do not think it is the most sellable product. But I do think it's amazing. But yeah, I just interesting. But
Oprah would like it though.
Oprah would like it, but yeah, I'm just kind of, it's just a little bit. I think I've got a problem with baby blue and pink, light pink together.
Well, okay, I think it's the TV because I think the coat's black and white.
Oh, there you go. Cause that's what it is. Because I actually didn't see this. Because I'm thinking like it looks baby blue and baby pink.
No. She's got. Also, Dom decided to use that pink Pantone color.
Because I missed Dom. I was in the back. That was the only one I missed, and I was like, you're not seeing what you guys are. So I'll have to look at it in black and white.
I think it's called like blush, like. Oh no, rose quartz. Mm-hmm. Rose quartz Pantone color.
Well, I'm not going to say anything on it because if it was baby blue and like pink, then it would be bloody disgusting. So
oh no, it's black and white and pink all over.
Okay. Oh, there we go.
Okay, so 10.
10.
Well, I'm not going to judge because I thought it was baby blue and light pink.
All right, that's okay. Moving along. Next designer up, we have in our slideshow, we've got Keeny. Yes. Stay on that one. That's the one. He's from season 13. I thought it was just the same old thing from his finale collection. Like, well, it's well executed, but it's overly executed.
Yeah.
It's like too much happening. Like, let her just be like chic. She doesn't have to have all this stuff going on the skirt. But if you're that customer, he's really talented. So I'm saying 7 because if that's what you want, he does a good job of it. But it's just not for me. It's just a taste thing.
Yeah. I'm actually going to give him an 8 because I think he knows himself so well. He knows his brand. His brand is not conventional and it's not like everyone else. But you could see Gwen Stefani wearing that on The Voice tomorrow.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I'm going to give it a 9.
Right here to the stars.
I gave it a 7. It's like very classic Keeny. He did the denim and the tailoring techniques, but I just felt like something about it was super contrived, and she just looks very tight laced and like stuck up or something.
I think she should have let her hair down on this one. Maybe.
That probably would have helped balance the dress, but I don't know. I was just, it's like whatever. I've seen it before from him.
And maybe she shouldn't have had her hands on her hips.
You know what's funny? Because it actually is all about the way that, because his pieces are not for every girl.
Right.
He's not making pieces for every
Maybe
woman.
we're not the customer.
Yeah,
that's okay.
But the way she's wearing it, she's not. If Gwen Stefani wore it, she would own it.
Honestly, maybe this is a little bit more rock and roll than Stella.
Yeah.
If you style it with a mohawk, faux hawk.
Well, yeah, I think if Gwen Stefani wore it, it would look cooler.
Yeah.
It is. I think anything Gwen Stefani puts on, you just like that chic because you're Gwen Stefani.
Right. So I'm not sure if we got all the photos over to our producer tonight, Eddie. Did you get any more, or is that all the ones that you have to put up?
Actually, that is all that I have.
Okay, so we're gonna do our best. We got very excited. It's our first episode in, and I kind of missed some images because I was really just loving it. And so speaking of what I loved, Sam, he made this beautiful jumpsuit that was sporty and athleisure and on trend. And it was black and white with some royal blue piping. And it was that striped piping that would be on the sleeves and neckline of like a jersey for like a football team. Or football team, whichever kind of football you like.
Yes.
But I really liked the way he constructed it. And it was fresh. We've seen jumpsuits, it's been a trend, and I should say, oh, yawn, I've seen it before, but not with Sam, because I don't know what it was. I love the model. I love the way he just did a fresh ponytail. It was easy to love.
That's what I love. I love when something is simplistic, easy, but then fresh as well. Like, you don't have to go overboard. Like, less is sometimes more, and it's still so different. It still shows who he is and stands out. So, love it. 9 out of 10. 9.
I also gave him a 9.
I gave him a 7.
Okay.
I liked it a lot. I think it was fresh for Sam. Like, it's unexpected for him to do that kind of literal sporty, but I think it worked, and I like the sheerness of it. He always does this kind of cool girl that's just cool and effortless, but she's so, you want to be her, you know?
Yeah, like I want to
Totally,
wear that and be that girl. So Asha, she was actually one of the bottom 3 tonight. I was very bored by this because it was a pleather black crisscross bodice with an A-line skirt. I've seen it, I've worn it, I'm bored. It's kind of like a Project Runway simplicity pattern. Like, this is what you do to impress the judges. Woo! Like, but I'm not impressed. # not impressed.
Oh, I like that. I know it sounds, people aren't a fan, but I love when people use hashtags in real life. I love it. It's so cool. What do you think, girl?
Asha, I've seen this from her before a lot, and I don't think it was as well executed as some of the previous ones. She's actually super duper creative. I think she has that more than a lot of the other designers, just that raw creativity, but I think she has to learn how to rein it in, and she needs, you know, to add to her idea, you know, library a little bit.
I think
so I gave it like a 3.
I gave it a 4.5 because at least it fit right.
Yeah,
well,
well,
the
I gave it a
fabric
3,
just
yeah.
made it super cheap, and then the top, it just wasn't proportioned right, and I know that she can do better, you know?
But it's just
Yeah.
funny, even like from, you know, I'm not a designer. And I don't, but it's like why would you use pleather? Like, the only designer that does pleather well is Stella McCartney. Like, that is it. Like,
Yeah.
no designers do pleather well at all. It's
Or as
so
we
hard.
like to say in the fashion world, vegan leather.
Vegan leather, yeah.
Well, and I feel like for $200, she could have gotten real leather.
I know. Like,
Or
what
at
are you
least
doing?
done
Yeah.
At least
top
done
or
just
the
the top in
bottom.
real leather.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna have to go real quick through the last 3 because
Okay.
we're just too excited tonight and we're like talking too much and we're running out of time.
Do you know what makes me sad? Though? I'm like, I wish
Okay.
Joan Rivers was here. I'm like, I can't believe her spirit was
So-
here. Yeah.
Mitchell, it's a sad prom and it's like a prom dress after she got dumped and she like got too drunk and she broke her dress. It was just the bodice was purple and pink and green and it wasn't even fitting right. One boob, it was a tit discrepancy. One boob was over here, one boob was down here. And then the skirt was this tulle nightmare. It was like some kind of bad Barbie doll. Like the bottom of the skirt was this like just white tulle, which I don't
That's funny. I'm going to
understand.
go back to my Barbie references.
Oh,
Ooh,
bring
good
it back.
girl.
Oh, and I'll just give you the rating right now. It's a 2.
It was like
It was a
Malibu
2.
Barbie on top.
Mm-hmm.
Malibu Barbie on top. And like prom Barbie, wedding Barbie on the bottom.
Yeah,
Mixed
but
together.
like a Barbie on a wedding cake, not like a dress you
Yeah,
would wear.
I mean, Mitchell, I love you, but don't do this to me.
You know what's funny? The only reason I liked it because it reminded me of like Lindsay Lohan coming out of a Halloween party in 2003 off the Coco.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
that's what I was thinking. I could
Same
just see
kind of
Lindsay in
thing.
2003, like 5 lines later,
Oh,
walking out
no.
of the. Loved it. That's why I love 10 out of 10 for that. 10 out of 10
for being a hot mess.
for being a hot mess. Hot mess.
Okay, so Layana, I wish we had a picture of her because it was actually my favorite, and I thought should be the winner because it was so beautiful. It was the other Pantone color, the blue color, and it was a perfect fit. I love the box pleats on the pants. It was like you kind of thought it was a dress, and then she walked, and it was pants. And you know everyone's been throwing this term around, athleisure. I'm gonna throw you a new one right now, ath-luxury.
Ooh.
That's
Boom,
what she
baby,
brought
boom.
tonight. A new trend.
I'm gonna write that one down. Luxury. Absolutely.
Luxury. 10 out of 10.
I gave it a 9, but I just love it. Was so interesting, but yet simplistic, so it was easy to look at. It was interesting. I haven't seen anything like that before. I like the marble print on the top with
Yes.
the solid bottoms.
And how she changed the piping to make the fit even more perfect.
And it just adds that little tiny detail. Like those little subtle things don't always show up on
Yeah.
the runway, but to me that's really important. It makes the difference between like your cheap throwaway stuff and your designer stuff.
That's like a forever piece.
Yeah.
It will never go out of style.
Yeah.
I don't care if people don't like palazzo pants or whatever you want
And
to
I
call
think
them.
like it was, I think she mentioned like, oh, it's feminine, but it's strong, and that's totally what I thought when it came out. And it's like in this weird kind of lavender color that I don't normally like.
It's the
but it works.
Pantone color.
Yeah.
10 out of 10, I agree with you. She was my favourite of the night, and I love that when you can look feminine but strong.
Yeah.
Like, how do you do that? Like, not a lot of people can do that. She was what it was about tonight. That is what they were supposed to deliver, so hats off to her.
Agreed.
Hats off. This is our last designer we're talking about, Alexander. And you know what? It was an old idea and kind of lazy. It was just an A-line skirt with like a kind of a 3/4 length sleeve. It was this fabric that it kind of looked like a curtain to me.
Circle skirt.
Circle skirt. I gave it like a 5 because okay, he executed it well. He did make some changes that Zana Roberts Rossi was telling him to give. But
I
that's
gave it a
basically
3. It was just basic, boring. I didn't like the fabric. It was like flattering on, but it's just so cheap and nothing. Like there was
Well,
no idea that came through at all.
It's
to
just
me.
in every store in different colors and different fabrics. Like you can find that shape everywhere.
Totally, and I gave it a 4, and I want to give it a 0 just because I think I'm offended, actually. Because, as again, this is a privilege to be on this show, and you're just like, oh, I'll just
Well,
slop something together.
And Alexander was a costume designer, and he brings this. Like I don't
Yeah,
get
just
it.
I hate that. Just roll out of bed.
I have more faith in you, Alexander. Okay, I expect more from you, and
Yeah.
I love you, and that's why I'm on your team. So I'm not being a hater. I just know you can do better. So finally, we're wrapping it up, and we are going to tell you the top 3, Layana, Ken, and Valerie. And the winner tonight is Valerie. With the cutouts, different shapes, her emotional story, her first sewing machine, and now she's got the orange, the white, the black, culottes. Cool girl. Love it. All right, so the bottom 3, Asha, Daniel, and Mitchell. Clearly, Asha at least knows how to execute clothes very well. She's safe. And then you have Daniel and Mitchell in the bottom 2. And Alyssa Milano says,
you both get to stay.
you get another chance. This is Daniel's Franco. He's like a cat.
Cop
9
out.
lives. Daniel Franco, he has 9 lives. He's going to land on his feet. I hope. Well,
unfair.
Thank you for...
I can't even get into the Daniel topic, so I'm zipping my... I want to relax now, I want to go to bed, but I'm not a fan of Daniel.
Sadly, we are out of time, but we'll see you next week. And where can everybody find you on Twitter and Instagram?
Cool, well, you can find me on Instagram at Dan Babic. That's DanBabic, and then Twitter's the same, but with an underscore under Dan Babic.
All right, and Michelle?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Uberreste.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at The Runway Queen. See you next week.
Bye, guys. Oh, Lady Gaga.
Good music tonight.
Next week we need to do Vogue by Madonna. Vogue.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Bye.
See you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.